Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of the School Safety Free Period podcast. I'm Amanda Klinger.
And I'm Dr. Amy Klinger. And aren't you glad we're back?
Yes, this is actually the second episode of this season.
I know, but I just wanted to remind you we were back.
Just remind you that you're happy that we're back. In case you're new here, we are the Educators School Safety Network. We are a nonprofit organization, and we primarily, our work is providing school safety training and resources and technical assistance to schools throughout the U.S. and Canada. And one of the resources that we do is a couple of podcasts. This one, the School Safety Free Period. Typically, we are very academic and very serious, and we do take this work very seriously, but every once in a while we have the School Safety Free Period where we talk about things that are too absurd to be true, but they are 100% true, and then I giggle quite a bit, and then we try to have some actual little content takeaways. Our other podcast, if you're a podcast type person, is a school safety news podcast, which we're going to try to be a little bit more diligent about updating this season, and where we talk about what is happening in school safety. And I try to almost never giggle, and we still do a lot of takeaways, keeping people sort of up to date on what's happening in school safety. So here we have it. Ready.
We came back last week, and as we talked about, it is difficult to come back after the horrific spring. And, you know, we don't want to in any way have anyone think we don't take this work seriously. But it's also important to kind of look at sort of how ridiculous sometimes some of these things are. But the way that we do this is I talk a little bit about, or you do, about whatever it is we've stumbled across. And then we try to have a lesson there or a takeaway that hopefully can be beneficial in addition to just looking at the strangeness. So I've got this is potluck again. I've just got a couple quick ones, okay? So we're going to start out, we'll start out from the
usually
maybe least funny to the most funny.
Yeah, usually I don't see the things ahead of time, but you did pull this up on your screen, and so I'm trying not to look. There's an excellent mugshot, which we could probably post.
Imagine a mugshot where your eyes are bugged out of your head, and you look like, how did I get here?
And you look kind of like a basset hound, but who's also sad and surprised.
Okay, so let's just get right to it then. We have a gentleman, ostensibly an adult, at the age of 45, who has been arrested, and that's why you're admiring his mugshot, because he threatened to shoot an 11-year-old boy after he lost a game of Fortnite. Now, I don't know a lot about Fortnite, so I don't know how you lose exactly. I don't know how easy it is to lose or how hard it is to lose. But apparently it is especially humiliating to have an 11-year-old beat you at this game.
I don't play Fortnite, and I am not a gamer, but I would suspect that it is not customary to threaten the lives of 11-year-olds who beat you in the game. I would just suspect that. I
would like to say it's just, in the moment, darn it, I lost, or however it is you do it. But no, he sent threatening text messages and an online voice messages.
Wait, how does he have this kid's phone number?
Well, it was through, I don't know. You're asking me to make a technological discussion of that.
So not text, not SMS messages, but like
my point is, he utilized several approaches, both text and verbal, to make sure that he got his threat across.
Well, thoroughness and death threats. And then, thoroughness always.
And then, of course, threatened to shoot the boy at school, which... Yeah, that's where we go from you're just being ridiculous to like, really? And so they ended up having to increase the police presence at the boys' school, and a lot of language back and forth, apparently. And supposedly the attorney says his client's going through a bitter divorce. They had to do a protection order and all kinds of stuff. So...
Yikes.
Yes. Well, so the more takeaway on that story is you as the school may be forced to deal with ridiculous stuff that's happening far outside of your school doors.
My takeaway for that story is when parents talk about students using technology, their teens using technology and social media, I think there is a very high likelihood that we are forgetting the social nature of video games. If you say social media, teens using social media, you're thinking Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Kik, whatever. I don't know. I'm 100 years old. I don't know. But you have a certain set of your teens where their primary social media that they are using is video games, And unlike Instagram, where they're probably just sending dumb pictures to their own dumb friends, they are interacting with potentially unstable adults all around the world. So I think that is a huge untapped risk that
So while
is
his
not on people's radar.
mugshot may be amusing, his actions most definitely are not.
And are not that atypical. I mean, we have heard stories about this of adults having very inappropriate interactions with teens, and it's certainly something to be on parents' radar.
Okay, so let's stick with your theme of technology, and let's transition into a segment I'll call "Yeah, right." This will happen. So here we go. This is a new device that is a proprietary device, revolutionizing the school world.
Wait, is it a school safety technology? Because there was money to be made off the backs of...
Well, we'll see. This company has created a mobile phone pouch, which closes with a proprietary lock. So you put your phone in it, you lock it up, like the tags at the store, and then you can't get into your phone. So you carry around your phone, but you can't get into it.
What's the point of that?
Well, it's kind of like how my dog buries a bone and then denies himself access to it for a suitable amount of time and then goes back and gets it. I guess it's that. So students enter the building,
So they
pick up
can-
a designated pouch, and lock their phones in it. Then they're able to carry the pouch around with them throughout the entire day. But at the end of the day, they line up and use the unlocking board at one of multiple stations as they exit the building.
Wait, so when it rings, you just can't you can't silence the ringer.
Well, it doesn't speak to that. I don't know.
Why, if you...
I just have visions of a kid like ripping it open with his teeth, like, oh my god, I gotta answer this text, just like
going feral.
going crazy trying to rip this thing out.
So I assume that this is sort of solving, like, I know in New York City, and I don't know if this is still the case, but for a long time, you couldn't have it in the public schools.
Yeah, and you could turn it in.
And so you could turn it in, and they had those buses. They
yeah.
had, like, basically food trucks that came, and you could do that and whatever. So I'm assuming that this is pushing the liability back onto the student, so you can still lose it yourself.
Right.
You can still get it stolen yourself, but
you just can't use
it at all.
So you have this really expensive device that you could use to further your education, or to distract yourself and be obnoxious and ridiculous. But it's locked up and you can't get to it. But you can, it's so close you can smell it, but you can't use it.
So so there is no then way to know, do I have two phones? Because, like, I can just bring an old crappy phone with a smashed screen and say, this is my phone.
Right. Or what if you just go, I locked it and I didn't lock it?
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of like a million ways that you could get around this particular system.
It just seems like, and this is the problem I have with all of these technology policies, and I say it all the time. You have something like this that you fundamentally cannot enforce. What's the point? Because there are kids
like someone doing like pouch inspections. Like, let me see your pouch.
Yeah, I mean, I was a teenager at some point in time. Something like this just sort of pushed me over the edge from, fine, I won't really look at my phone in class. Okay, fine. To, oh, that's the ridiculous thing that you're making us do? Sure, okay. And now I will just do everything in my power to get around it.
Well, let's hear from one of the students.
Oh, great.
Direct quote. When we were first told about it, I was kind of upset. Then I realized it's actually helping me in class to do my work and focus more. You know what else might help you to do your work better and focus more? If you had the self-control to not use your phone because you chose not to use your phone, as opposed to an external force controlling you. That might help you academically and in life in general.
Well, which I think begs the question is there something like this that is a training wheels for that? Because I agree. You are going to have more success if you yourself are saying, no phone for me right now, I'm paying attention during third period. Is there instructional strategies? I know that you haven't been in the classroom for 100 years, in that sort of a K-12 classroom. But
we had slates and chalk when I was in the classroom last.
But are there sort of instructional strategies that are sort of the training wheels to that? I know that we've seen a number of different schools where they have like a shoe organizer sort of hung at the front of the room, and they ask the students to sort of put your phone on silent,
I think
put it up there to sort of help
you
you start to break that habit yourself.
Yep. But you can use the lockable pouches. But there is a school safety takeaway.
They spent a whole bunch of money on this and not on training teachers?
Well, no. Parents were concerned. They wanted to know what would happen during an emergency. when their student
That's when people
wants
start
to
ripping
call
the pouches over with their
911.
teeth.
I guess the question would be, yes, how teeth resistant are these pouches? Or what do I do? Like a scissors? Will
No,
that
you break-
open it? Bang it on the wall? That opens
You
it?
just bring a knife.
A magnet?
You bring a knife, a special pouch
Maybe
knife.
there is a science experiment in there where you use polarized magnets and it pops open. I have no idea. But they do raise a valid point. What do we do in an emergency like a school shooting? Screw your pouch. I want my kid to be able to call me or call for help.
Well, that speaks to what we always say when we're talking about student technology use during crisis events. You have this incredibly powerful tool that can be used for good or ill. During third period, normally, during a school shooting. And
Right.
the difference between using it for good or ill is not that we're going to then throw away the machine, stop using the tool. We won't be able to utilize any of the good aspects of the tool because people might be using it inappropriately.
And if you ask parents why they buy their kids a cell phone, they don't buy their kids a cell phone because they're hoping that they'll use it inappropriately during history class. They buy their kids a cell phone because of the peace of mind of knowing they can call for help. They can call me. Now, granted, they also, there's a lot of other layers to it. The
that
response
was
from
probably
the
why
school,
you bought me a cell phone 15 years ago.
the
but
response from the school was there is information on the school's automatic alerts that are connected to each parent and guardian smart devices. So in other words, the school says, don't worry about it, we'll communicate with you. So you're going to get your communication about your child on our terms, not on the parents' terms.
Oof.
Yeah, so I'm thinking...
There's a little bit of, this is the first time I'm hearing that, but there is a liability attached to that.
Well,
Of saying that
we decided the inmates weren't allowed to use their phones.
that we are gonna the only communication you are gonna have with your student is through me.
Now, if it's voluntary, and I feel like I want to lock up my phone, of course, like who's on the planet is going to do that? But let's listen to those last two quotes from a student. Usually we like Snapchat each other, tweet each other, whatever. Now it's like, instead of texting them, we just write a note and pass it. So have we really improved focus or academic, maybe writing skills?
I think penmanship.
Maybe
We've improved
penmanship,
penmanship.
I guess.
And origami.
Yeah. So there's that. So there's where we are with that particular thing.
Okay.
And then in the same technology vein, we have an invention from the University of Miami. And this one I really do not want to be super hard on them because it looks like it makes sense. It is a facial recognition software algorithm or something that can be put into a basic security camera at a very low price. They are not marketing it. They're not selling it. They're going to give it to people that want it. So that's all great.
Okay.
And what it will do is it will deny access to intruders, which sounds great. I mean, who doesn't vote for that? Here they come to the school, you got your camera, you see them, they can't get in. Great.
So this is a podcast, so no one can see, but I have my skeptical face
Well,
on because I'm into
I
we're going
was-
to give it away for free. We're going to put it in low cost, cheap
It'll
cameras.
cost about
Okay.
$450 and it can be installed on existing CCTV cameras or on new ones. The challenge to the program, I'm now reading from the article, law enforcement agencies have to provide photos of any potential intruders or criminals so that the program can be able to identify the suspects.
Oh, so it just keeps specific, like the people who
Right.
pass bad checks.
So the question would be, if we already knew this person was going to come and do something to the school, would we not want to do something more than go, yep, recognized them, told ya, I knew that was them. I mean, do we not want to do something a little more...
If we know that we have a person who is of concern, who has made a threat against the school, who we think might be coming to the school, maybe instead of telling the computers and the terminators, maybe we should tell the folks who work in the school so that they can be on the lookout and be heads up for that person.
Yeah. So, while that is, again, I don't want to be hard on these researchers because I'm hoping there is an application in this that can supplement something else that we're doing that makes a little bit, more sense. And then I guess the last place to sort of burst the bubble is we know statistically 80% or more of attackers are from within the organization.
Current
So
or former students or employees.
you're looking at 20% of, and if we've got a picture of them. So yeah. So there's a little bit of a flaw in that particular
My
thing.
hope would that be that we have a technology and folks think that the technology is very interesting and sexy, and then that mobilizes them to think more strategically about what do we do about intruders? What do we do about unwanted visitors? So now we have this cool tool that we want to use. How are we going to raise the level of preparedness and all of the other things that we have at our disposal, such as our people, such as the facility that we have currently existing, policies and procedures, and so on.
Yep.
Huh.
And
okay.
finally, this one's not so funny,
I
but
thought you said from least. I thought you said it was going from least funny to funny.
well, yeah, maybe that wasn't accurate.
Hardly any of these have been funny.
This is a particular. Well, it's hard to be funny right now, to be
No.
honest. This
Challenge
particular
accepted.
one was a bus driver. A student was shot off, not on school grounds, but in the neighborhood, ran to the bus stop, and the bus driver took him in the bus, sheltered him in the bus and took him to safety. Called the police. Police came, ambulance came, so they, shelter him in the bus, closed the bus, great. And when the police came, two other students on the bus, were uncooperative and tried to grab the taser of the cop that's responding.
What?
So let's just get this straight. So you're on your bus, you have a kid that's shot, they bring him into the bus, so you've had a trauma taking place in front of you, and when the officers come, you're going to be uncooperative and try to take their taser from him. They end up tasing the kid.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
How bizarre! Is that a thing? Trying to take the taser off a cop? I've never,
Well, I can't say I've ever done it, no, so I don't know.
Well,
I
I
wouldn't
just-
mean if that's a thing. I don't know
I
if
don't
that's
know,
a
I've just-
thing.
well, you know-
Apparently it is a thing because somebody tried to do it.
planking was a thing. I don't know.
No, I don't
Maybe
think
that's
it's like planking.
Huh. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so they
That's
end up, but I mean, and this is the irony of it. So you have a kid that's shot who is saved thanks to a quick thinking bus driver who does exactly the right thing. Law enforcement comes to help out. They do a great job. And for their troubles, they have to tase the kid, take him to the hospital, put up with grief, and arrest two other idiots on the bus for being uncooperative.
I hope that's not like planking, because that's
No.
not a great.
No, and I guess again, my point in saying this is we can't always assume that everybody's going to behave exactly the way we think they're going to behave when these sort of things happen. So it was, a plus for the folks that did the right thing, and a what were you thinking for the dummies that apparently did not get that this was
An actual incident.
an actual incident.
Huh. Okay.
There you have it.
Well, those are interesting. I can't say that they were the funniest ones we've ever had,
No.
but I guess we're sort of easing.
Stay tuned.
We're easing our way back into it. So there you have it. If you like this podcast and you want one where we are even less funny, we're talking just about the facts and just about school safety news, you can get the School Safety News podcast wherever you got this podcast: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn. You can also listen to podcast episodes directly on our website if you're not quite a podcast person, you have a difficulty with that.
Think of the school safety as medicine that you need to take.
Oh, the school safety news.
Right. The free period is medicine that you need to take with a little bit of sugar in it.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily always have to be funny and sweet. We just add a little bit of fun and sweetness to the medicine you need to take.
I like this analogy because I really
Like Mary Poppins. I could sing that.
Well, you can sing.
No.
I like NyQuil. I like the flavor of cherry NyQuil. So I get what you're saying with that.
That's weird too.
It's-
That's concerning.
Well, I don't
Maybe
drink.
that's in next week's podcast.
I don't drink it for fun like normal days.
Point being, it doesn't always have to be funny. It's good medicine.
I get that.
That tastes
I agree.
good.
Did you know that they're making a sequel to Mary Poppins? And I
Yes,
watched
they
the
are.
trailer for it, and it looks not great. So
Okay, this
There's
is
a
not
hot
an
take.
entertainment show.
hot take. Well, we just be funny. It's a hot take on anything. So there you have it. Please do rate, review, subscribe. If you have any questions or you have a story that is too absurd to be true, but it is true, you can always email us, info@eschoolsafety.org. That is the website, eschoolsafety.org. We have tons and tons of free resources. We have some resources that are available at low cost and just tons of information there. And always reach out to us. Anything that we can do to help, we're happy to help. So thank you.